But all right, real quick, I don't even know what we're talking about. Give us a little quick introduction. Tell me who you are.
All right, what is up, guys? Look, this is weird. Like, I'll tell y'all some backstories about this cat over here, or how I got to know him. But Justin Martin with Duck Commander, sitting in on the Spotted Dog podcast. I was making sure it didn't have another name. I was having to look for the sign in here. So,
yeah, normally you're leading them up.
Normally I'm not the guest on most podcasts that I record. So it's I'm generally the host. So I'm just glad I don't have to work that.
Well, we got it set up where it's pretty easy.
I'm good at talking.
Yeah.
Not so much that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, thank you for coming on. I told you this was going to be something you just literally show up. We're just going to talk, see if there's any things, that we can talk about, can't talk about, anything like that. And we didn't come up with anything. So we're just going to shoot the breeze. And
I'm an open book. I don't care. I've done a lot of things right. I've done a lot of things wrong. And hopefully, if something I've done wrong, you can learn from. And if something I've done right, you can learn from that too. So it doesn't bother me. So if Jesus don't hold me accountable for it, I ain't gonna hold myself accountable for it. Or, if it's been forgotten, it's been forgotten. If it's been erased, it's been erased. All the things. But no, man, it's, I just got done doing a duck call room episode. So
and that's how we know each other.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No, the first time I met you, Willie said, I got this guy. We were struggling in the podcast world. Let me back this. No, he called you a guy. I remember it. So when we first started the duck call room, none of us know what we were doing. Like, not a clue. Like, none of us listen to podcasts, right? So I don't listen to them for the most part. Si, obviously, I don't even know if he can spell podcast. So
he still don't know what a podcast is.
I mean, maybe Johnny D would have, but Godwin, Stone, none of the rest of us had any idea. And we were just struggling at first. We thought our podcast had to have an identity. Like, here's what we're going to do. We thought it had to have, because we come from TV. So it had structure.
Yeah.
We had no idea that the beauty of ours would be no structure. And so that's what, but when we were wanting structure and all those things, that's when Willie said, I got this guy, goes to church up at Christ Church, good guy. He gets it. He's young. He knows all this stuff. And we're like, yeah, heck yeah, man, fire away, And then you
I didn't have a
then
clue.
You come walking in and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing? I was like, oh boy, this is the most Willie Robertson thing I've ever heard in my life. But of course, I was also the product of when I started there. I didn't know what I was doing either. So, but that's what he does. He finds people he likes, and then he's like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot from that podcast, and I credit that era in my life. And I haven't, it's not that big of a deal, but I haven't really opened and talked about this a ton, with my close friends and family. But that is an era of my life that I'm like, okay, I learned so much from that, mostly because of disappointment. You think you're doing stuff right and you think you're doing it, but you realize, looking back, you're not hustling how you need to hustle. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't see that when you're in the moment, and you have to learn from that later on. And it took me a little while to realize that, but I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from that of I guess probably what I did wrong more so than what I did right.
That's the most valuable lessons. Are not what you did right. Even in duck hunting, life in general, I'm learning it right now in parenting. You learn from what you did wrong.
Yeah.
If you did it right, it doesn't really stick with you that much. But when you do it wrong, you're like, okay, I get it. Yeah. And so, I think that's why, you see so much stuff in the Bible kind of mention the wrongs and here's what they were doing. I think it's why Jesus taught in parables a lot. Mm-hmm. So to teach what other people did wrong, but here's what you do right. So it's a cool deal, man. And you get older and you figure that stuff out.
Yeah. And it's good to be right once you get older. But there's nothing better. There's nothing better. That'd been the worst thing in the world of having some 20-something-year-old kids show up to a Duck Call Room podcast knowing what I was doing and be like, y'all, here's what we're doing.
Oh, and we had no idea. So we were listening to you because you're like, man, this guy knows what he's doing. Then to come find out, none of us know what we were doing. So it's but I think that was it was a good transition for us too to figure out, okay, this show doesn't need structure.
Right.
What makes this work is us four guys sitting in here, and you never really know. We don't even know what we're going to talk about. Today, prime example, we show up we tongue in cheek almost a year ago to the day, we asked everybody last year for their Spotify Wrapped, like just to kind of see. We were going to crown like the biggest fan. We were just spitballing, obviously. And so people sent it in. It was like 20,000 minutes, 20,000. You know, they was like really close. It's like, which was very humbling anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody listened to you for 20,000 minutes. That's wild.
Yeah.
And then we got a few that were like 60,000. And we were like, holy cow. Well, then this guy from Ireland comes out of the blue at 101,000 minutes listened to us. And we were like, bro, what are you doing? What's wrong? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I mean, our dude is like, what's wrong? What can we help you with? Like, what are we doing? You know, but then we ended it with Si said, hey, I tell you what, you ever end up in the United States, you come by here and we're going to put you on this show. Guess who knocked on the door today?
Oh, Ireland.
Ireland. My man from Ireland just walked up and he told the people in the store, and we were like, for real? And I went over there. Sure enough, I was like, well, it's your lucky day, buddy. We're recording a podcast. Come on back here. And like, we're going to roll here in about an hour.
Oh, so he had no clue you were recording or anything?
No, he decided to take a vacation to the United States. And since he was in Vegas, he figured he'd just stop by.
Yeah, it's just a hop and skip.
I said, well, I guess when you're from Ireland, when you're in Vegas, you're pretty close to Louisiana in the grand scheme of things. I don't really think nothing about that, you know. But like, yeah, he went to National Finals Rodeo and then slid on by Duck Commander. But it was just cool, man. Sit there and we talked to him for like 20, 25 minutes, but we didn't have none of that planned. Like, I mean, just a wild deal. Shows you what the Lord can do. Shows you really and truly how small the world really is. Like, and you know, pretty cool deal for us. And I think he had a good time. And him and his wife, I'm trying to remember his name, Austin. Yeah, Austin from Ireland. And his wife's name was, it was a long one. Chantel, that's what it was.
Chantel,
yeah.
Spell that
Chantel.
for me one time.
It was CH because you spelled it with CH because she had it on her earring. So
okay.
I was looking around. I was like, I ain't ever going.
You sure it wasn't Chanel?
No, Chantel. I remember that. No,
I'm talking about the earrings.
No. It was her full name. It was because then I asked her about it. So it was, no, man, really cool deal. And he had maybe for him the experience of his life, and for us it was just another day. We were like, man, this got tight though. So, yeah, man, it's been fun. The duck call world is wild. Like the places that little thing right there has taken. So it's crazy, man.
These, actually, when I went home just a bit ago to grab a few things, I went and I got a couple of them. But this is my lanyard. This is what I keep on it. And I don't duck hunt all the time like I used to. I still enjoy it. But I remember we were in the duck call room and y'all were talking about this before one of the episodes, and you brought it in, and Stone, I try to talk like him sometimes. If I hang around Stone enough, I'll start saying, I think kind of everybody does. Everybody starts talking like Phil and Stone when you hang out with him more than about 3 or 4 consecutive minutes.
Yeah, if you start giving that
that
means you've been around Phil Robertson too long.
Boys. And so he walked in, and he said probably that same thing. Well, boys, let me show you what sounds good. And he hit this one time, and I think y'all all kind of have your own little calls, but I went by there. It was way after the duck call room. We were doing jiu-jitsu and all that fun stuff together. And I hit him up. I'm like, hey, I don't remember if I wanted to get some pictures. I don't remember what it was. I wanted to do something to kind of help out. Like I wanted to, kind of like I talked to you, like, I'll go, let me get some pictures. Yeah. Let me do some stuff. I'll have fun with it. I'll get something that's worth you. We'll both win-win for everybody. And he's like, well, come on by. I ain't been around him. I can't talk like him. But I essentially went by and we blew all the different calls. And this is one.
That's
and
a
then,
good one. That's my baby there.
This one?
Yeah, that one right there. That's mine right there.
I didn't know that. Yeah. This is the cut down, ain't it?
Cut down 2.0 is what it's called, but it's built off of, so when I was a kid, young youth, growing up, learning to blow a duck call, I learned to blow the reacher and the cut down reacher were my 2 favorite duck calls that Duck Commander made. And I still, funny story, 3 days ago, I found my old lanyard with them on it. They still sound phenomenal.
Chris.
Like I'm thinking about putting them back on my lanyard. But the cut down 2.0 was basically the cut down reacher end piece, but I bored it out to kind of mimic the old cut down Magnum, probably 8 or 9 years ago, I think. And that was kind of right before I took over as like GM, and I was just product guy. And I really wanted that rebirth because I love the sound that comes out of that thing. And so I sat there and tinkered with it, played with it. And so, yeah, now I still blow that exact duck call. If you go out there in my truck right now, yours is a lot clearer than mine. Mine has got a lot of years of Copenhagen spit and chicken strips and
McDonald's
sausage biscuit
yeah.
and like all kinds of things. But it's still like, it's one of the original samples that I built that mold off of and like all the things. So kind of keepsake for me, but it also just sounds good. Like I love it. Blew it this morning, shot a few mallards with it this morning. So it'll be there till I'm done duck hunting, I think. So, and like I said, I may bring that reacher and that cut down reacher back into play too. So it's, we don't sell those though. I'll get in trouble if I have those on my lanyard.
Yeah. So well, you could just do a little highlight video showcasing the past.
Yeah, I thought about doing like a legacy hunt or something where I hunted with that and like hunted with my grandpa's shotgun and kind of like just went full, old school.
Well,
like for a hunt. So.
Perfect shirt of what you're wearing. I mean, you and all the cats at Realtree, like that's becoming the thing is going back to the old school. Is that Advantage? Is that what that is?
Yeah, this is Advantage Classic. Yeah. I used to, what's funny is like growing up, I remember calling this like cartoon camo because the leaves were so big. I was like, man, it looked kind of weird. But now when you see it, like it takes me back to 94, 95. Like I was a 10-year-old kid and like at hunting camp with Mama and Papa. And so I think there's a lot of that, a lot of nostalgia that people realize they would rather have nostalgia than cutting edge. And at the end of the day, these animals aren't that hard to hide from. Yeah. Like we figured out. Yeah. If you're just still, like you can, I tell everybody, if they were smart as we thought they were, we wouldn't see them, let alone kill them. So like they're not brilliant.
It'd be like whitetail bucks at nighttime only. You'd get them on camera at night and that'd be about it.
And you wouldn't ever trick them. So like, go have fun, go do it right. But like, where would you want to? Who cares? Like at this point. So,
well, it's like the solid colors.
Yeah. I mean, solid or big.
Between elk hunting and waterfowl hunting, solid colors, darker greens, and mostly like the tannish type colors. That's as popular as anything right now.
Because then, like a lot of us, like, especially in the duck hunting world, I don't know about elk, but like a lot of us duck hunt and go to work. So like to wear full camo was always tough. You had to keep a wardrobe change on your back seat. Now you can just throw like a little vest on if you want to add some camo to it or something. Then you take your vest off and you got a plaid shirt or a solid shirt and you just walk right into the office and you keep on trucking, you know? So it's, but it's fun, man. Like, I love looking back on the old stuff, reminds you where you were, where you come from, where you've been. Like, and what's crazy is some of these patterns in 10 years will be vintage. And
well, to people like me, they were vintage.
Yeah.
That is as vintage. The only thing that is more vintage than that, and I actually have it, it's an old Columbia jacket, but it's the duck camo. Kind of like similar to this, but the old school.
Columbia Widgeon 4-in-1 parka. Everybody had it.
Is that what it is? It even has the game vest. Okay, well, that's what it is.
Columbia Widgeon 4-in-1 parka, buddy.
Yeah, I have one in my closet right now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't wear it. I'm like, man, I want to take care of this thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah, I probably still have one at my mom's house. It's like, I want to say it's like mossy oak shadow grass. Okay. Like original shadow grass, probably. Yeah, man, it was just, I remember all that stuff. Like, it's crazy once you stop and think about it. Like, I've worn every brand since coming up through the deal, and like you still just kind of always ease back to what's familiar. Like it's crazy, man, how all that stuff works. Now I don't ever want to go back to neoprene chest waders.
No, I texted a buddy of mine I bird hunt with up in Kansas. He texted me yesterday. He's like, hey, his son who is as big as you, and he either just turned 16 or he's about to turn 16.
Oh, he's gonna be a bull.
That son of a gun, let me tell you. Yeah, he will hurt you. But sweet as how most of you big guys are, just super kind. I don't know about you, but a lot of big guys just
I'm the same way. That's why I didn't play football past high school. I wasn't mean enough. Man. I just didn't. I didn't care enough. Like
this kid, he's mean on the field, but he really is a sweetheart. But he texted me last night. He's like, hey, I don't know anything about duck hunting or goose hunting, but and they're in Kansas. Like you get a water hole and you're going to kill a limited greenhead.
Just add water.
Just add water, literally.
Just add water.
And they live on the Arkansas, they call it the Arkansas, but the Arkansas River.
Oh, yeah. They smash.
There's potential for them to smash. None of them duck hunt up there. None of them. And it's all deer hunting ground. And so all your out-of-state guys are coming in. Anyhow, long story short, he texts me about that. He's like, hey, looking to get my boy some waders. What should I get? And I was like, there's several different brands. I've seen a few different ones. And I said, whatever you get, make sure it's not neoprene. I said, if you want your son to love you, if it starts with an N and not a B, don't get it. Again, make sure it says breathable and not neoprene. Man,
that's one thing from the past that can stay in the past. There's not a lot of that stuff can come back, but neoprene chest waders, y'all go on somewhere.
You know, I've even tried I haven't owned them, but I put them on. But the old halvesies, as I call them, they're waist down or breathable and waist up is a neoprene.
I still look like a busted can of biscuits in them things, man.
Even with that being the case, I don't want them.
Yeah, no, I'm just like,
like,
no, man, we good, man. Let's go full breathable and call it good. Yeah. Like, I remember first pair of breathable waders I bought too. Like, I was like, oh, this?
I thought I had my phone on silent. My bad. It's actually on Do Not Disturb.
Freaking Corey, what's he doing?
It really.
Hey, make us a plate. Answer that.
No, they're up in Kansas. Him and Michael.
Oh,
I was like, hey, we're going to go to Kansas.
We're close enough to Paris. Tell him just tell him drop that off over here.
As late as it is right now, we might be going to get a plate when we leave on live.
Send that thing over here. This podcast brought to you by Paris. No, I'm sorry, Corey.
The building too. But
duck wraps. Let's stay on brand. Duck wrap. Bring some duck wraps over here.
Might have to. Him and Michael, McVeigh, they took off up there, and I told him, I was like, hey, I can't go until probably around the 13th or 14th of December. Won't be but like 3 or 4 days, but there's a cool snap coming. Let's go up there and hunt then. This is back in November. And they're like, okay, sounds good. So we've been planning on it. Well, my schedule got freaking...
Reach, buddy.
You know what it is. So anyhow, guess who is up hunting and sending me pictures of, I'm not even joking, he may have already killed the deer because it's not dark yet. He sent me a video right before your walk when I was on my phone when you're pulling up. Let me just show you really quick. Check this out.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, yeah, he gone. Big old 10-point. Got to mighty.
This is the video that he sent me.
That sucker tastes way better than ducks, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he ended up buying. Is that rifle season up there?
It ended Sunday.
Oh, so he killed that with a bow?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that deer had to get a long ways over. Oh, yeah, never mind.
It's a good ways right there, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had to come, but he's turning, walking towards him right now, so...
He's hunting.
Just tell him I expect venison on the menu next week. Then, like venison something over at Parrish. Big.
I know you can't see that, but that's probably low to mid 150s.
That's a good 10. One. That's a good one. Clean.
I'd smoke that son
beautiful. Oh, ain't no doubt.
Jeez. Well, my phone's on silent now, but. All right, now I don't even know what we're freaking talking about.
Oh, it don't matter.
Dang phone's on loud, which I'm glad we saw that, dude. That's awesome.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So anyhow, he's tagged out in Kansas. Michael's got to tag out. Like us. That's what we're saying. I got tied up. I wasn't able to go. But I'm going right after Christmas.
There you go.
I'm going to hunt the last 4 or 5 days of season up there. And
well, it's probably better than what this is too, because there ain't no cold. I mean, I don't know if they're as hot as we are here, but it's 80 degrees out there, man. Like
it's a little warm right now.
Like I'm back to thermocells in the mornings, like for this duck hunting junk that I got to do. So
yeah,
that's what them boys. I got some boys in that Realtree sent over. It's the hardest, hands down, the hardest duck that I'll kill all year will be tomorrow, if we kill one. Because they sent in, so Realtree's doing like this series called First, which I really commend them on, not just because they're our partners, but I think it's really cool. And they've already dropped one. Where's a kid's first deer, but they're picking these kids from across the country, just kind of randomly picking them, and they're bringing them places to do first experiences. So I got a kid from Georgia. This one's hometown boy, who has never killed a duck. His daddy ain't ever killed a duck. And they're both going with me in the morning if his dad kills one, that's a bonus. I'm not, no offense, Dad, if you listen to this, I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the kid.
Right.
Like trying to get one either really close to the water or on the water for this kid to kill one. And then I told him, I said, you kill one, buddy. you part of the crew. This game on, man. We about to lay the wood to these suckers.
We all killing.
But I'm gonna let you have that first one, and but it's just gonna be. I mean, it's 80 degrees. It's supposed to rain tonight more. Like supposed to be thunderstorms almost. That like from 2 to 5 is what they're saying. I told a kid, I said, most time I can guarantee this, or I can guarantee you an opportunity at this. I said, I can't do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. And I said, that hurts me to tell you this because you're only here for a day, but it's where we're at, man. Like, I can't guarantee you a thing. So, which sucks, but, you know, it's hunting, man. It's hunting, and hopefully we kill us one. I mean, not many times where my goal for the day is one. But tomorrow the goal is one duck.
Y'all hunting timber or?
I don't know yet. I'm about to the point where I'm going to flip a coin. I got 2 spots that will work for the wind that we got tomorrow. That's got a few ducks around it, not really on it, but around it. And so it'll either be, I mean, I guess you could call it timber. One is WRP stuff, which is my favorite. It's my baby. And then the other one is kind of a new project we've been working on for about 3 years. It's a reclaimed reservoir, but we're stumping it and cleaning it where we are going to eventually plant it in trees and button willows and stuff like that. But we're still in the clean out process. So hunts a lot like a field, but we've got kind of a edge system we put in with willows and all kinds of stuff. So it's got a big skid blind in it. So big, comfortable. A god awful thing to brush, but it's in there, it's hidden. Like, so I don't know yet. I'm telling you, I may leave here, walk out to my truck, flip a quarter, and say we're going there. Like, I'm just to that point because
we'll figure it out over duck wraps.
I mean, one of them is either 20 minutes from the house, which sounds nice, and the other one's about 1 hour and 15 from the house. But I mean, it's like, I want the kid. And I asked him, I said, "Do you care what kind of duck it is?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Attaboy.
Woody it is, baby."
Well, I can't guarantee you a woody, which is strange for me. But so I can either like teal, shovelers, gadwalls, or potential for a mallard and maybe some gads, but mostly mallards. Like they're, for whatever reason, we don't have a lot of off ducks. We got mallards, but we don't have and we ain't got a ton of mallards, but there's enough dumb ones you can kill.
Yeah.
Like, mallards ain't that smart. So, but they sure make for pretty pictures and pretty video. So that's why I like them. But, so yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. It's fun. It'll be fun because it gives me some on hands training for first experiences. Because I got 2 wild ones coming that we about to. At some point, we're gonna have a lot of firsts. So I need to learn how to be a better teacher and coach, so to speak, than I am right now. Because right now I just know how to kill them. Like, you know, so.
It's a tough thing. I'm figuring out because Vaughn, he's 3. It's tough being a teacher. Yeah. Like, and I want nothing more than to be a great teacher for him. But we're getting into shooting bows. We're into that stage right now. So he got a toy bow. Okay. And me trying to go, it has like this little barrel that instead of like a whisker biscuit or like you would typically have on a kid's bow, this has almost just like a little barrel that you put that little suction cup arrow through, knock it on the string, which it don't actually knock, it has a little slit.
Yeah, just sit there.
It'll fall off if you're not holding it. And the patience that I've had over the last few weeks trying to get that to click with him, it's been troublesome.
It's gonna be a toughie.
Yeah. And so anyhow, I'm praying to be a better teacher because I'm not a.
I've already warned my wife. I said, and it's one of the things that aggravates her about me is like when we were dating, I took her duck hunting, and I just assumed like she had been exposed to hunting. She hadn't. Like. And I'm out there like, what are you doing? Like, you know, quit moving, like all these things. She's like, ain't nobody ever told me. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So I'm having to teach you. I said, fairness, I'm not a very good teacher.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not. Like, even in school, I wasn't a good teacher. Like, when we had to teach classes and stuff, it's not my gig because I'm like, just get out of the way. I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the kind of personality I am. Like, I struggle teaching. So I got a dose of reality coming for me, but, you know, it'll be fun.
We'll both learn it.
Yeah, we'll all learn together. Like, you know, that's why I told my buddy Clay, I was like, I need you to pick where we're going tomorrow because you've gotten a lot of people first in their life. I said, I haven't. So whatever you think sets up best for somebody's first whatever, let's go do that. Like, I'm trusting your opinion on this. So.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting though. Like that you're talking about, it's exciting. And dude, the duck hunting industry, it's been big for a while. Like it's been really, really big. But I just had this conversation with a friend the other day. I was like, I think that duck hunting is as big now as it's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, financially probably so. Yeah. Well, and participation, not so much though.
The content creation side of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's pretty easy, right? And it's cool. Like you're riding in a boat. Yeah. Like you got a lot of little cool factors. Where deer hunting, you just climb up there and get the tree, be real still, be real quiet.
Yeah.
So duck hunting's got like a cool factor to it. But the sad part is like, because there's numbers, right? So, and these aren't like the duck counts that may or may not be accurate. Duck stamp sales are accurate. Like that's a true, that's sold. We get money, we count it. And so like now that last year we were less than 1 million for the first time in I don't know how long. I mean, that's sad for ducks. Like, and it's weird because you keep hearing people talk about public lands crowded, all these newbies and like all this. I'm like, this math ain't mathing, y'all. Like somewhere in here, somebody lying. Like, and it's not the sales of the duck stamps because like you can't make that up. That's a real number. So like, but maybe it is that it's gotten so expensive. There's a lot of people that used to lease ground that are now being forced to public ground. So maybe that's why it feels crowded. I don't know. But yeah, we got to do a better job as duck hunters of getting new people in and keeping them. Like it's easy to get them a little, I call it a drug. You give them a little taste of the drug, but how do you get them hooked on it? And that's it's like, how do you, the food industry's done it well. Every other one's done it well, except for ducks. Like we are very up and down. Like Duck Dynasty, the height of Duck Dynasty, there were like almost 2 million duck stamps sold because of us, which is great. Like that's cool. And then we got all the hate for it and I'm fine with that. I don't care. Yeah, give me all the hate. That's cool. But the problem is we're back down to lower than it's ever been since I've been alive. So like that's a problem too.
What's an average?
About 1.2, 1.3 million. So, and now like last year we were like 900 and I don't remember, 960 or something. It was below 1 million, which was weird. Like that's a weird one. So, the squeaky wheel gets a grease and all of a sudden if we ain't a squeaky wheel no more, we ain't gonna get no grease. So like that's why I encourage people to like pass this on. And duck hunting is hard. Like the ducks aren't smart, but it's hard. It's extremely expensive. Like all the gear, expensive. Like, and it's just getting worse. As the years go by, it is getting worse. And that's what sucks. Like deer hunting's pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things. One rifle, a box of bullets lasts you 5 years if you're a good marksman. Like it don't, same way with turkey hunting. Like a box of bullets last you 5-6 years. Like you ain't got it. But duck hunting, you got to go buy more bullets. And them bullets is expensive. And the shotgun is expensive. Yeah. And the waders are now
astronomical.
Unbelievably higher than a giraffe's rear end. Like, and then, so it is just, it's expensive. You got to have a boat. You got to have a 4-wheeler. You got to have, it's a pay to play game these days. And the price tag is getting a lot of people out of it. So, which is sad, but it's just, hopefully we can find a way for everybody to meet back in the middle and make it more affordable, get some more people duck hunting and get some young people duck hunting, man. And like, you see all the turtle box people of the world, like they catch a lot of heck, man. Not turtle box itself, but the young kids. Yeah. And I'm a crotchety old fart now. I'm crowding 40. Like I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm kids, I'm like, oh my God, don't be like that.
Dude,
like,
I complain. Jacqueline my wife made fun of me the other day. I just got a new phone. Matter of fact, my case hasn't even come in yet, but I got ordered and got a phone shipped to me the other day, and I was complaining about the new iPhone. I'm like, why? I hate getting a new phone. Used to, that was a thing. Couldn't wait. Every year, every 2 years, get a new phone. Now I'm like, dude, there's a reason I've been rolling with the same iPhone for pushing 3 years because I know
ain't nobody from Apple listening to this, but y'all go back and fix that trash update y'all just put out. Like,
yeah, it's
I can't find a picture to save my soul.
No,
on
it's
like,
I don't like it.
Quit taking them out of linear order.
That is what
quit
sucks.
it.
Yeah,
quit it.
We'll get on a whole topic.
You sorry turds. Like, this is easy. I'm trying to send a picture of what happened last week. I got to scroll back 5 minutes to find last week. Yep. I'm like, what is this junk?
Needs to be the last one there.
Unbelievable. But no, I'm getting to the old fart level. That sucks. But I'm embracing it. So.
Well, talking about being expensive. So one thing, like looking at these calls, one thing that I know that I'm not the only one that thinks that, I don't think like this now, but I'm not the only one that thought like this. But growing up duck hunting, early teens, if you didn't have like an Echo or an RNT, something like that, if you blew a duck commander call or like a Haydale or something like that, you were just poor and you were trash. You didn't know how to duck hunt.
Yeah, you didn't know what you was doing. Right?
Yeah, you had to have the bright fluorescent orange and greens and pearls and all that other kind of stuff. And they sound good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But you had to have that, and like that was the fad through. I don't know. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. Okay. No, I mean, you were like, there were kind of like levels, right? Of like, I think everybody, and me included, probably started on a DR85. Haydale's DR85.
Yep.
Cane is like a plastic cane call, essentially, is what Eli did. And so I know a little bit about the history of all these things. But like you got the DR85, super easy to blow, had a duck built into it. Like anybody could make a quack on it. But once you got from that, once you figure that out, like, all right, now it's time for my next duck call. Well, your next duck call was either going to be like a Haydale's red leg if you wanted to stay true to Haydale, or you were about to jump over into the duck commander world. Like if you want it, because now it's like, okay, I've graduated, and Phil built all these calls based off of an Olt, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of that cut down kind of feel to them, that rasp, that sound. And now, I mean, those calls weren't called cut downs back then. That's a relatively new thing. But that's what he built it off of. He blew Olts. He kept cracking reeds and busting it, trying to figure out how to make the product better, which is where Duck Commander ultimately arose. But that was kind of your next step in progression. Well, then you grab that Duck Commander and you realize, my God, this thing's hard to blow. Like, but you learned on it. You mastered it. Well, then it was like, okay, it's time to get to the big leagues, boys. Like, I need me a RNT daisy cutter or an original, or, there's 100 different ones now. And I look, I'm friends with them RNT, but I'm friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, the only one I may not be friends with per se, it would be Rick Dunn at Echo, but that's just because somehow our paths have never crossed.
Haven't crossed
like,
yet.
It's just weird. Like, somehow out of all the places we've been, and we've been at the same places, we've just never had a time for me to stop and shake his hand, because I can appreciate what he did, like the Mallard Madness and all those videos that they put out and all that stuff.
Rusty, Creasy, that whole crew.
Yeah, that whole bunch, man. Like, I get it. And I've hung out with Rusty a lot. He's a real tree guy now. And but I've just never, me and Rick have never had a chance to shake hands, talk to each other. But that was kind of always your next level, was like Echo, R&T, something out of the state of Arkansas, because that was, that was the cat's meow. And you see it a lot today. Like, a lot of kids now start with our stuff, start with Haydale's, and they move up still to R&T, or in their mind they're moving up, but they're moving up to R&T or Echo or Rolling Thunder. I'm trying to think of all the expensive guys now. But now everybody that's got a garage makes duck calls.
Everybody.
So like, it's kind of a weird deal.
And there are some of them that are good. There are some of them that are good, but I'm going to tell you, I don't have these on my lanyard just because we're pals and I know y'all and know the company and all that. I'm telling you, and I ain't great at blowing a duck call, but when I sat down and Stone, he went and he's like, all right, he put it together real quick, and we're in like the original duck call room. Yeah. And he's like, hey, that's one of the first ones, because didn't I say it's got a white wedge in it, I think. Yeah. So that's one of the OGs. Like, we've changed the wedge on it now to get the fit right. I've had it for a while. But pushing on probably 3-ish years. How long have y'all been going with
that's the Phil Pro Series. So that probably 3, maybe 4 years now.
Yeah.
Which we just copied the old DC 200 barrels. All we did, and made it out of acrylic. That one's acrylic. That one's like matte black acrylic, and we got one that's out of oak, and so it's but it's a good duck call. No, it's easy to blow. Doesn't take a lot of air.
That was the thing about it. So real quick, going back to the Olt you were calling, it's OLT, but PS Olt. Is it? That's the guy's name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? I don't remember what the PS was for.
I don't either.
But it was PS Olt, and then you had a PS Olt keyhole.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. If you had your hands on a key, even now, them songs I don't even know what they sell for on eBay now. But
what's funny is at that office, and I don't know what I'll ever do with it, I'm not going to do anything with it because it's not mine. But it would be fun. I have a keyhole Olt that Phil Robertson cut down.
Oh man,
back in the day, and you can grab that sucker and it's good.
Yeah,
knowing what I know now about duck calls, it's really good. But we just have it. Yeah, we're not going to do anything with it. And somebody in the family will end up with it. Hopefully, they know what they got. But that Phil cut it down, and it's a.
The meat that thing has, that's what all your old school hunters that thing just got some meat to it.
There ain't no telling how many ducks that thing has killed. Mm-hmm. That was back in Phil's BC days before Christ. So there ain't no telling how many fowl died on the Ouachita River.
He wasn't sticking to 6.
No, that was just the first round.
Yeah,
it's a really cool little piece of history that we have there.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever even talked about it. I don't even know that anybody knows we got it, but it would probably fetch a pretty penny for somebody that wanted to do something.
That's one of the things you don't want to, though. That's something.
It ain't worth it.
No, you hold on to that.
I hope it stays in that family forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, PS Olt. So they were kind of like the pioneers in the duck call world, really and truly. And yeah, they were the first ones to start mass producing a plastic poly S, but they had that rubber in it, duck call. And then but you had your old guys. You had Falks down in South Louisiana. You had some other boys, Sure Shot. There were people, duck calls and all game calls were very regional. And you only used ones from your region. It was a weird thing. So Olt was kind of the first one to break that barrier. But, they caught such a bad rap back in the day, they went out of business because they were so hard to blow.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of where Haydale's, Eli and Phil both slid in. It was we're going to make a really good duck call. We're just going to make it a lot easier to blow so that more people can blow them. And so they led to that. But now the trend is going back to make it hard to blow because
you got to have that skill.
Stick your chest out, and so it's a cool thing. I love the cut down world. I just don't want to be standing next to somebody blowing it all morning.
No,
they're so loud.
Yeah, and even if you can get one where you go and you file it down, and you get everything where it's just right, like you're talking about the cut downs and Phil breaking them and everything else, trying to get it right. It takes one small filing to get that thing where it never quacks again.
Ruin it. Yeah, completely.
It don't matter what you do.
It.
You throw it away. And I have one. I only have one keyhole, and that is how it is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, up to probably, I don't remember, 12 or 13, we were in my uncle's blind, and I could blow that thing as good as anybody, at least to myself anyways.
Yeah.
And it sounded, even as a kid, going back and watching some of the little mini VHS tapes, that song gun had a bark to it that sounded absolutely insane. It sounded incredible. Just barking on it, man. It sounded so good. And if you don't know what he's trying to do, go look up a PS Olt or just an old cut down, even some of the new ones. Some of y'all,
go listen to Jim Ronquist. Just listen to Jimbo on a Rockin' Armando, and it's an Olt copy.
Yeah.
All they did was took an Olt and CNC'd it, and it's a PS Olt copy.
But up until that age, early teens, 12, 13, 14, whatever it was, I could blow it. And then you start getting a little bit taller, start getting some hair where you haven't had hair before, and your voice starts changing.
Starting to smell weird.
Starting to smell real weird. I couldn't blow it. And so anyhow, took a little small, it was off a little Gerber, like a little multi-tool, kind of filed it, and
trash.
Yeah, it's as close to being trash without being trash now. Yeah. But that's what I love so much about this, man. You can just pick that thing up, and I'm not no great duck caller at all, but just... it takes no effort at all. Typically when you go and you pick up a cut down on one of those old calls, and then you got to get that PSI built up and then put in it, and you don't have to.
Well, and then you don't have to guess at what you're shooting at either.
Yeah.
Like, you get off on it. You get through barking on one of them cut down, one of them true blue cut downs. You stand up, you got them little dots up there in your eyes. You're like, now which one's a duck?
Yeah,
like,
that one mallard or gadwall is turning into 3 or 4.
Yeah,
and
hey, whoa. But I mean, I do like people that can run a cut down, like truly run it. It is the most mallard hen sounding thing that has ever been made. But most time people think they can when they can't. I'm like, hey man, put that thing up. I'm like, But I got buddies that can, like Matt Laird, local guy here at Mallard Crossing Guide Services, as good as they get on one. Like, and I've told Laird that. I said, golly, I'm glad I get to sit on the other end of the blind from you when we hunt together, because I couldn't sit right beside you. But be down there, man, you sound good. Yeah. But he's mallard hen, like he gets it. Jim Ronquist, another one. He is full blown mallard hen, just like, and it's like, I can't do that. Like, I mean, I can, but it don't make sense for me to do it because we don't sell it. But I also know, like, we tried chasing that expensive call market for a little while, and that's just not our customer. It's not our deal. We're not ever going to enter a contest. Phil was anti-contest, and I get that. Like, so you just kind of got to know your customer, know your brand, know your story, and do your own little thing with it, and embrace it. Really, like that's what we've embraced. Like, this is our stuff. The hardest call we have to blow is that cut down 2.0.
This one,
yeah, and it's not even that difficult. I mean, it does take to get everything out of it.
Yeah,
it takes a lot more skill than our other ones, because it'll bark. It'll bark with the best of them. But you can also milk it down to absolutely nothing. And to be able to run that full gamut takes a little bit of skill, or a lot of skill. But to pick it up and make a duck sound on it, it's not that difficult to get that out of it. So, but just life, knowing your customer, know who you got.
Find your lane.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, Spotted Dog, perfect example, the store itself. Like, you can go down there and you could have a full variety of all the premium goods you want, or we could match our customer and we could sell all this stuff too. And so they've done a good job. I ain't been down there in a while, but like when I was doing key accounts and stuff for Duck Commander, Spotted Dog was one of ours, the Wallaces that owned it prior. And so, I've always, even anytime I drive through Columbia, I pull in and stop in. I just haven't been that way in I don't know how long. I rarely go south now for much of anything. If I do, I'm going fishing. So generally I got my boat behind me and I'm checking it to it. So, but yeah, man, that's good people. Like, and those people are our people too. The fine folks of Caldwell Parish, like Columbia, Hebert, like that's my stomping ground.
There's more Duck Commander tattoos in that little area and those couple parishes than.
Look, I grew up as a
else.
kid on the shores of Lake Lafourche down there.
Yeah.
Like, we had a fishing camp. Still got it. Still got the little lot. We don't have a camp on it anymore. One of them floods took it out. We just haven't rebuilt. But it's one of them deals I want to rebuild when my boys get old enough and we do it together. Yeah. Like, we build us a fishing camp and all the things. So, I got some roots down there in Caldwell Parish too. So, like, I mean, I'm North Louisiana through and through. Like, what's Howard's Grocery down there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've spent $1 million in Howard's Grocery. So, like, any of you Hebertites listen to this, I'm one of y'all. Like, you catch me on Woodland Lake in February. Don't play with me, son. Like,
it'll be getting about that time before long.
80 degrees. I feel like I need to be there throwing a chatterbait today. Like, it feels like way more viable of an option than duck hunting. So.
Well, if it was dry enough, I'd say scratch the going duck hunting in the morning and we'd head to the farm and try to get after it.
Buddy, y'all got a special place there.
It's fun.
That is a special fishing hole right there. Like,
I didn't get to fish. We had a pretty wet year this past year.
Yeah.
It was
wet till it wasn't.
It was wet until it wasn't, and then guess what? I didn't have time to go when it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I start getting time to go, guess what?
Wet again.
Bottom starts falling out.
Yeah.
You've been back there enough. You ain't getting the truck back there with a boat.
No.
You got a better chance of putting a gator tail down the turn row and making it back in the summer if it's wet than you do.
Yeah.
You do a pickup truck.
If your in-laws are up for it, I'll pay for the dock and the boat lift.
Man.
We just tote it out there when it gets dry and leave it there.
Just leave it there all the time.
Yeah, just leave it there. We run some electricity to it or something, charge the batteries, and that's a good fishing hole there, man. Golly.
But that's one thing a lot of people, which you post a good bit, and just like of the activities, outdoor activities and stuff you do. But duck hunting, I mean, clearly that's outside looking in, that's your main thing. But
Yeah.
I don't fishing, catching them largemouth.
I tell everybody that asks me they always ask, "What's your favorite thing to do?" And I always tell them fishing. And fishing was my first love of the outdoors. Like, that's what I grew up doing with my grandparents. Like, I fished every pond in West Monroe, Louisiana, whether I had permission or not, didn't care. I wasn't going to keep them. I was going to throw them back anyway. And, but I fished so much. And still, as the duck hunting thing kind of took precedent and all that kind of stuff happened, I kind of got away from fishing a little bit just because time management didn't allow me to fish as much. Well, then Duck Dynasty happened, and all of a sudden, I'm not having to keep a time clock, I should say. I mean, you still work your butt off, but I don't have to keep a time clock then. And technology changes. I can do 98% of my job from the cell phone that I've got tucked behind my back right now. So it really led to more fishing in my life, and then I met through my partnership. This probably ain't good, but with Academy Sports, I met Jacob Wheeler, who's kind of decent at this bass fishing deal, and we became buddies just by happenstance. And so it really kind of reignited my fire for fishing. Not that it was gone, but that just had gotten pushed back. Like it just kind of went away, and now I fish almost as much as I duck hunt. Like, it's killing me that the Washita River is so low that there's only one good ramp. Like, because if that Balkanville ramp was still in business, like, I haul my boat to work, I'll leave at 2 or 3 o'clock and go fish for a couple hours before I go home, be with the boys. Like, I just go get a little stress relief in, and I can run up the river and catch 8 or 10 spotted bass and go home, knock sides off of them, and we eat them. And like, so, one of them kind of deals. Who is calling me? Oh, yeah. We'll talk to him in a minute. Let's get a plan for tomorrow. But so yeah, I just love fishing, man. I love it. I love it. It takes me back to being a kid, like all the things. And, I never dreamed I'd have a deal with Rapala. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Rapala's paying me to help them with stuff. I'm like, man, what a life. Like, I mean, look at God.
When it slips up on you too.
Yeah, like I wasn't even trying. Like, I just, but that's a cool deal to work with a brand like them who've been in business for, since the 1800s. And so like those opportunities only come along every once in a while. So I jumped in feet first on helping them with some plastics and helping them with some hard baits. And like, it's just really cool because I can speak to that stuff to a different consumer than like Jacob Wheeler can. Like, and that's just kind of a fun deal. And I love, everybody asks what's your favorite fish, the next one. Yeah. Like, just whichever one will bite and go that way. Yeah. I don't care what he is. Yeah. I just want to reel him in. Yeah.
Like, if you're catching some white perch or crappie,
that's great.
Let me tell you, there's nothing more fun than that.
I love a drum.
Yeah.
Like,
until you're pulling up on an op or a brim or a bass, that's whatever you're catching.
The next
really
one,
is.
man. I just want the next one. Like drum, grinnell. Like, I don't care. Like, if you will go boom on the end of my rod, I'm like, yeah, I'll catch you.
Yeah.
Like, we just got back from the Keys. We caught a bunch of weird stuff down there, a bunch of little baby jacks. I don't know what you call them things. Then we caught a bunch of snapper and caught a grouper, and I caught something called a white marget. I ain't never caught that thing. Them locals call it like a white snapper. He looked like a snapper, but he ain't one.
Yeah.
He ate fine though.
I
knocked the sides off that sucker too. So he ate good. Like, and so, yeah. And then we went and caught a bunch of little mangrove snapper, like, flipping. I was with a bunch of bass fishermen. We was up there flipping docks in the Keys. It's like, these fish ain't ever seen a cricket. People don't do this around here. Like, they get out there and they go to that blue water. We up there in the bushes. Like, we flipping drop shots around barges.
You catching them peacock bass?
No, that's further up. We were in Key West. We were all the way down. So no, just salt water down there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, I love fishing. I love it all though. Outdoors, it's where I'm the most comfortable. It's where I'm me. Like, so whether it's deer hunting, duck hunting, squirrel hunting, dove hunting, catching fish, catching bullfrogs, fooling with alligators, like, I just love it all. Full circle, full service. But that's what I was raised doing. Yeah. Outside in the mud, doing it. So
yeah, dude. I'm wanting some fried fish. Matter of fact, Jacqueline, I talked to her about supper, and I knew we were going to talk about fishing at some point. And the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, dude, some old bass fillets.
Yeah, knock sides off them things. Hey, if the good Lord didn't want you to eat them, he wouldn't have made them out of meat.
You ain't lying, bro. But a lot of it does come back full circle. We're talking about some videos and stuff that when I was doing real estate back in the day for another sporting goods store here locally, and I was helping them, not having a clue what I was doing, but when it came to marketing overall, they did, but not so much of the social media. So I was helping them out with some stuff, and never in, and that was 2016, 2017, never in a million years would I thought I'd be doing this kind of stuff. Or, you know, out fishing, getting content for that and making a living from it, or hunting or whatever. And this,
oh, guarantee you, man.
It's
way
fun.
better than shift work.
Whew.
It's still work. It's just way better than shift work.
Man, sometimes it feels like shift work. When you get behind that computer and you're editing for 6-7 hours straight, and you're like,
yeah, thank God.
I don't work through breakfast and lunch. I don't forget
thank
about
God
that.
I ain't ever had to do that. But, I mean, just like today, it's 6:15 right now. My day started this morning at 4:30, and I ain't quit. I mean, scout ducks, duck hunt, come back to the office, handle my jobs there at Duck Commander, jump in the podcast set, do that deal, jump on the deal with Realtree, like sit down, do interviews, filming for that deal. You know, and then when we get done here, I'll go home. And what's funny is I'm like the biggest introvert you'll ever meet. So like I'm going to go home. There's a solid chance there will not be a light on in my house because my wife and kids are in Nashville. Most likely won't turn the TV on. I'll play some kind of weird puzzle game on my phone till I get ready to go to sleep. And then I'll just roll over and go to sleep.
Shut her down.
Yeah, I'll take my dog outside to pee one more time, and then we go into bed.
You think, and you are absolutely very introverted. But to people that you know, and like this kind of setting, nobody would ever think that.
Nah.
Like nobody would ever really think that. But I guess like Duck Dynasty or the TV stuff, that kind of helped bring you out, or like show you how to not be introverted and to like bring out that personality.
I think what it taught me the most was that that's okay. Like I was always kind of raised, keep your mouth shut, work hard, don't worry about the rest of it, right? And so, like for me, that would look like not having many relationships, not having a lot of friends. Because I was always under the belief people were going to let you down, like, and they do for the most part, me included. I let people down all the time. But the Duck Dynasty deal, I think part of what that was the good Lord saying, get out, do this, talk about this stuff, do this deal. Because I've learned in life too, when you're comfortable, you don't grow. Mm-hmm. And when you're uncomfortable, you can really grow. And I think that was kind of preparing me for my wife, one. Like, when you live with somebody, buddy,
things change.
You can't be introverted all the time because they need you. You can't just go home and be a turtle. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't get home and say, oh, I love you, and be a turtle. Like, so you have to really learn some of those skills. And I think that helped. And then preparing me for ultimately twin boys. Like, I'm still an introvert. I just don't have any time to be an introvert anymore. Like, because my life is like their lives are still dependent on me and their mother. Well, you can't be an introvert and be a dad. Like, that's just not. Now I can this week because they're gone, right? Like, but I know when they get back on Saturday, here we
Buckle
go,
up,
boys.
baby.
They gonna want to see Daddy. They FaceTime me in the duck hole this morning, and like, Dad, showed them the dead ducks, and they're like, "Oh, duck go night night," and I'm like, "Yeah, he went night night." Like, all the things.
Spoony.
They know mallard, they know gadwall, and they know wood duck. So we got three solid duck IDs right now.
That's all they need to know right now.
And but I think that's kind of was the good Lord bringing me out of my shell, saying, I need you to do this. And, as our job, we're unapologetically Christians. Like, we're not getting off of that. And I think that was his way of how he needs me to work in his kingdom, not to be back and be quiet and kind of be a little more bold, a little more outspoken, a little more in front of cameras and lights and all that. Cause I would have never, you kidding me? Like, No, I wasn't a kid that stood up in class. I wasn't like none of that. Like you didn't even know I was there.
Yeah.
Like I turned my test in, make my grade, and I'm out. Like, see y'all. Like I didn't want to make friends. Like I tell people this all the time. Like, hey, my circle big enough, man. It don't need to get no bigger. And the good Lord was like, watch this.
Yep.
You know, like
the biggest circle possible.
Yeah, like that just keeps growing. You know, which is cool. But I think we're all given those deals, and what you do with them, how you react with them, kind of tell you who you are, what you need to do. Just listen, and you know, it's a cool deal. Like I again, a lot worse jobs you can do. I did them right. So if the most uncomfortable part of my day every day is
our podcast.
I got mildly uncomfortable just then.
If
I'm being fair.
I told you to bring Benelli inside with you, bro.
If I'm being fair, I got mildly uncomfortable then because them headlights were sitting on that window for a minute. I was like,
right there. We are in Monroe, Louisiana right now, right across the river from Duck Commander. And
like, Nolan, we supposed to be in here? Because it don't feel like it.
Yeah, we're pretty close to a ambulance headquarters. And that one, I'm telling you, they waited to get right there by our vehicles before they.
That made my heart skip a beat.
Yeah.
I said, oh no, what have I done? Like,
I was like,
I think I've had a good day. I don't know. Like, golly.
That 4:30 should have started later.
Yeah.
It got off to a bad one.
I know we didn't shoot early this morning. We didn't shoot nothing at daylight. So why you after me, man?
Yeah.
Like, but that's the deal, man. Just, again, I think if you're an extrovert, I think there's times the good Lord calls you to be an introvert. Just sit back and, you know, like he said, be still and know that I'm God. So, like, I think there's, like, the whole deal. He's just trying to complete you. Like, with him and his spirit, he just wants you to be a complete human. So, you need to be able to do both. Like,
you know, we're talking about, like, full circle. We've talked about everything from Camo being, it was vintage. It was the thing. Like, that advantage, it was the thing.
Oh, and cat's meow at some point. Right?
Yeah, and then so it was a cat's meow, and then it got old. Only your dad wore it or whatever, and it wasn't cool anymore. And then now, look at his back in thing, and then it's going to go back out of style. Same way with the mullet. It all comes a circle. But like one thing that you said that y'all are holding on to is just your faith, and like anybody, it don't matter if you watch The Blind, if you watch any of the old Duck Commander DVDs. What was the one that had the blue? The cover was blue. So
that would have been 4, I think. Running gun is that's not blue.
It may be more than one. It may be more. The one I had, I remember watching all the time. Is the first DVD I had, and I had it for a while. But it was the cover was blue. I don't remember.
I thought blue was running gun. It may. I mean, you had Duckman 1, which was just Duckman in Louisiana. Like Duckman 2 may have been like Point Blank. Duckman 3, I should
watch it not be
probably
blue.
A little better, but
yeah.
I'm like 90% sure that the blue one is running gun, which is what's funny.
I know y'all were shooting black clouds, and I do remember.
Oh, so you're talking about like Weather the Storm?
Weather the Storm.
Oh, an older one.
Yes, yeah, Weather the Storm.
Yeah. I was going back to OG.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It had a little blue like rain, like lightning and rain kind of deal, because Black Cloud paid for the cover. They wanted to be on the cover of it. Yeah.
But it don't matter if it was back then not the OG, but just the OG. But even back in the OG, talking about from way back when everything got kicked off to now, like you look at even the new news on Phil, like that's why I go things we can or can't talk about. Not that we got to go into details, but you want to talk about something that'll just show Jesus. You look at everything that he's talked about, he's living it through right now. He's been living it through for years, but
man, a little known story on him, of current, I should say. So like opening week, so I tail hunted with him this year. Like I tail hunted down there a few times. So like, if you don't know, all right, let me back up a little further. If you don't know, ever since I started at Duck Commander post Duck Dynasty, like the deal was this, we're going to have one group filming here. And then I was kind of like a satellite filming deal, making sure that we had enough content, enough footage, gathering all these things. So more camera time, just more opportunities to get ducks on camera. That was the whole deal. And so, I didn't really hunt with those guys for 4 or 5 maybe even 6 years. I don't know, a while, but they didn't need me down there, right? They had a crew. Like, I didn't need to be doing that. It was more important for me to be over here outside Monroe doing a lot of different things. So I was taking all the people. I was taking partners. I was taking hopeful partners. I was taking friends of the family. Like, I was a quasi duck guide again for a little while. And, but this year it's kind of shrunk back down. Like, and so I went teal hunting with him quite a bit. And just sitting there with Phil, you know, it was fun. Like, just sitting there talking to him. But you could tell something wasn't right. Like, and this isn't a slow deal. I mean, we've all seen it coming, but it just really accelerated, like, between the end of teal season and opening day of duck season. So, opening day of duck season, I show up down there with them boys, like, all right, you know, we're going to have fun. Well, I get in the blind, and I was like, all right, Si, where you want me? Because, you know, Si's there, and I'm like, Si going to get the end. Like, and he should. He's 76 years old. Like, get down there. You've been in the middle your whole life, son. Get down there and you run this show, big dog. And then Si said, come down here with me, get in Phil's chair. And I said, nope. Like, I'm not, If he ain't here, no, sir. I ain't sitting in, I said, I'll sit beside his chair, but I ain't sitting in that man's chair. I'm not willing to say Phil Robertson ain't coming back to sit in his chair one day. So I just folded up his chair, set it right there in the corner, and I set my Yeti bucket down, and I sat right there on that bucket. And I mean, but after that, I said, after sitting there, you know, I was like quasi in tears. I mean, like, just because of what it means, right? Phil Robertson ain't here duck hunting. Like, it's just weird, man. Like, I'm on his property that he poured so much blood, sweat, tears, money into, and Phil's not here. But he's here. He's still on Earth. He's just not here. So when I got done, I was like, everybody's like, all right, whatever. And they said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to sit and talk to Phil. Like, I can't do that. Like, I just couldn't come down there and do that and then not go sit and talk with Phil. And sitting there talking to him, man, was just so good. Like, I mean, he is still the perfect part of faith, right? Or the biggest example. Right now, he has every reason to question God, to question Jesus, to question what he devoted over half of his life to sharing a message, and he ain't. Like, it looks grim for him. Like, well, we all know it's coming for us, right? Time's undefeated. Like, you live here long enough, something gonna get you. But he is still, he's ready. Like, you know, he's probably mad he's still here on Earth, really and truly. Like, you know, and but he is just still steadfast. I mean, we talked about scripture, we talked about ducks, I did make him make one promise to me though. And he went back there and got all of his duck bands and brought them out there to him. I mean, he's got a string.
There's no telling. I
mean, it would reach to that corner over there from right here, probably. And he brought them out and put them in my lap. And I was like, what do you want me to do with that? Like, he was like, I just thought you might like it. I said, are you giving this to me? And he was like, yeah, you can have it. I was like, no. No, I said, buddy, I said, that's your family's to fight over. I said, no, I'll make you a deal. If they don't want it or nobody can appreciate what this is, I will take it. And you can rest assured they will not go anywhere. They will stay with me until my dying day, and then somebody can figure out what to do with them. But I said, Phil, I just need you to do one thing for me. He's like, what? I said, we're getting you on this new treatment program. I said, if you feel up to it one day, just come duck hunting with me. I said, and we will throw every law in question out the window. I said, and you shoot as many of them as you want to. I said, I'll take the checkbook. I said, I'll call them and we can prepay for what's about to go on here. I said, and I don't even care. And he said, you got a deal, buddy. And I said, yeah, that old man's still in there. That old outlaw is still in there, man, which gave me a lot of hope, right? Because like, he's got every reason to say, no, I just can't do it no more. But I just saw them eyes light up, and he said, I'll do it with you. I said, there we go, buddy.
Well, I can make you a promise. Any game warden worth half his weight in anything, he'd let him do it.
For Phil Robertson, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do.
Trump would pardon him instantly.
Yeah. Any of y'all game wardens listen to this? Come on.
Yeah.
You can come with us. Like, you can just start the tally board.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what we ain't going to do. Stop.
Yeah.
So,
Just bring
like,
it
till
on.
that old man gets enough, we ain't quitting.
Yeah.
So,
ain't nobody in this country that'd stop that. But
man. Just one last ride. Like, hey, let's go, buddy.
Yeah. What he's done and what y'all have done for the duck community is one thing, but what y'all have done just for the heavenly community, just for the followers, even the people that wanted nothing to do with Jesus, and then look where they are now. So
yeah, man, it's cool. And that's why I said, like, that's what's so awesome is to see him still living it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I sit there and think, man, to get that, you know what's coming, right? With that diagnosis, like, misery is headed your way at some point. Now, granted, it's come a long way, treatment and protocols and all that's come a long way to slow all that stuff down and not necessarily rebuild it, but not get worse. But at some point misery's coming, and he's still just
rocking on.
Hey, love Jesus, love everybody. I'm like, man, it's actually probably the most inspiring part that I've seen. Like, because it's easy, not that it's easy, but to make the transformation from no Jesus to Jesus is pretty easy. But to still say it when your whole world as you know it is crashing in on you, that's big time.
Yeah.
That's what faith is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so to see him still living it out, man, it's just like, it just sitting there, it gave me chills. I was like, he's for real. Like, this is for real. That's awesome. So.
And one thing that people ask a lot, not so much from me, but you hear a lot is, are they like Cy? Is Cy really how he is in person versus how he is on TV?
Lord.
Yes, he's even worse in person. But like Phil, it comes to as close as being emotionless as possible. Mm-hmm. Like, very cut, dry. He's going to tell you what he thinks. And with the same straight face, with the same dirty white T-shirt on every time, that's what he's going to do. He's going to tell you, and it's going to be cut and dry. But the I don't know, I guess just like the testimony of him, like it's touching, like me just thinking about like our kids. Yeah. But he's not one of these stories that led this big thing and there's nobody to take the empire over. Yeah. I mean, you look at the stuff that Willie's doing and stuff Chase is doing.
Sadie. Killing it.
Like, freaking look at the stuff Sadie's doing. Yeah,
I tell Sadie, I say, you're the only person, 15 years younger than me, that I look up to. So.
Dude, I mean, just
so you're aware.
Wild. Like, absolutely insane. And it's not fake. Like, that's the best thing about it. Like, it's not one of those things that they're doing like, oh, this is a good way for us to make a living and it's relatively easy and we're well known.
No, because if it's fake, it gets snuffed out, man. The world's too smart now.
Man, it gets snuffed out quick. I remember being at home with the Robertsons when we were filming that. We had some NFL guys and they wanted to play poker. Well, he told me, he's like, hey, there's no one of those things. I was in Alaska and Willie called. We were on a mission trip and he called and he's like, hey, I got a gig for you. Just, can you come over to the house? I was like, dude, I don't even know how many miles I am away from you right now, but I'm not.
It's gonna be a minute.
I ain't half a mile, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
So anyhow, I went over there that next week and he's like, we got a TV show we want to do. It's a kind of small thing, but it'd be a good way for you to kind of get in on that kind of stuff. And we did it, but it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot through that as well. But I was a segment producer. Didn't know what a segment producer was, but I was a segment producer.
I don't think I still do.
Well, I still don't fully understand it. But anyhow, I was that, and these guys came in. It was during a lot of the BLM stuff, and they were doing an episode like.
Oh yeah, I was on that. Yeah, I did that in a boat when we went and put out the nets.
Yes, we went out to Desert. Yep.
I still talk to that one dude, Michael Thomas.
Yeah, me too.
That dude's tight, man.
Oh, he's legit.
Like,
yeah, we text a good bit.
Yeah, I still talk to Michael. But, like, he is quality human being. I don't talk to any of the rest of them, but he was the one that showed up with the most open mind to hear things, and you see it now. Like, he's really high up in like the NFL player union or something. Like, so he is in a leadership position, even though he's not playing on Sundays anymore, because he is open-minded. He gets it. Like, super smart guy, but I think he played at Stanford, so that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I looked him up after that, but I was just really impressed by that guy.
Yeah,
I was like, this he gets it.
Super cool dude.
Oh yeah.
But we were over there in their little guest house, that little spot right there.
Oh yeah.
And and they said, hey, do you think they have any wine, some cards? I mean, we got through filming, filming, it's long days. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, I'm ready to get on my golf cart and drive back to the house. I'm done. Like, I'm tired. I don't even watch football that much. Y'all have at it. And they're like, hey, go see if you can find us a bottle of wine and some cards. We'll play poker for a bit.
Well, I can tell you, that is a guarantee to be found around a Robertson house. Both of them things.
Well,
and dominoes.
Yeah. So I walked in there, and when you first walk into Willie's house, that little room, I don't know what he calls it, but that room to the right, his little den area or whatever. Yeah. He was sitting there and he was working on something. And I wish I could remember, just for story's sake or just for me to be able to remember, but he read me something of what he was writing. And he didn't have the name Gospeler or Gospeller. No, it's Gospeler.
Gospeller, yeah.
Is it Gospeller? Is that
how? That's how he says it.
Yeah.
So that's how I say it. That's how
we're going to say it. But he didn't have the title yet. Corey didn't drop that on him just yet, I don't think. But if he did, I didn't know it. But he dropped something. We were doing a leadership thing at church too at the time. And he's like, hey, what do you think about talking about this Sunday? And he read that to me, and I was like, that's gold.
Yeah, boy, smarter than he looks, ain't he?
Holy smokes. But going back, look, we can wrap this thing up, but going back to the testament of Phil Robertson, everything he's led from business-wise to even just all the people leading them to Jesus is just outstanding.
It's cool, man, and that's what's so hard, like the legacy of it all. And, I love Duck Commander so much for duck hunting is what it is, right? But for the impact that it's had, like when it come out about Phil, like the outpouring of love and messages and like all the people saying, oh my gosh, I never got to meet him. I'm like, well, he ain't dead yet, son.
Yeah.
Like when the Lord's done with him, he's done with him, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced that the Lord's done with Phil Robertson yet and what he could do in this chapter. Like, it's just another chapter. We're not at the end. Like, we ain't closing that book. When we do, it'll be a sad day. The world will be a little bit dimmer place for a little while, but it'll be extremely dimmer when Si goes. It's just his legacy, what he's built, and that's why I'm so passionate about keeping Duck Commander going. Like what it means, what the brand means, what a man really just willing to pick up his cross and follow him, what that can do for you. So
no matter the circumstance.
Yeah, no matter. Doesn't matter. Like, hey, we're going to move down here on the river, quit everything, sell fish, make duck calls. We're going to make it work. One day we'll sell $1 million worth of these things. He didn't know Duck Dynasty was coming. Like who could have, right? So 30 years later, he finally got to cash in on it. And so, just a really cool overall, and that's why every day I go to work, I'm happy to be there, like happy to be charged with leading that brand and figuring out what's next for us. And, but even with what's next and what's new, it's going to stay rooted in Phil Robertson, his legacy, how he wants it run. It's his company.
Yeah.
Willie owns it, but it's his company.
There'll be my assumption, there'll be a whole lot less that changes with him the day that he does leave and take his reward. There will be a whole lot less change than a lot of people may think about it. Right. Just the impact that he's made and that legacy and just that life that he has just filled up.
Yeah, he's one of them weird people, not weird people, but there's only one Duck Commander.
Yeah.
That's Phil. Jace can't do it. Willie can't do it. I can't do it. The Duck Commander will forever be Phil Robertson. Yeah. And that speaks volumes that you're not replaceable.
Yeah.
But he's the Duck Commander. Yeah. And so none of us even want to chase that title. Right.
Nope. We don't want to sit in his chair.
That's that big guy. That's that guy right over there.
Yeah.
Like we ain't fooling with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. He's cool. I love that he's still here. I love he's still battling. He's still fighting, still trying to figure out. And hopefully we can ride one more time together. Yeah. It'll be fun.
Oh, you will.
It won't be documented, but it'll be fun.
It don't need to be. Look, we document enough these days. It don't need to be documented. But, well, dude, next time you come on, we'll get some side stories. We can have 18 hours.
Buddy, I got plenty of them.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah,
I got enough on that old man, too. Besides, one of them deals is a good thing me and him didn't know each other when we were both younger. I'll just say that. Like me and Si cut from the same cloth on clowning around. So
that dude is he's something. Yeah. He is something. I told Stone the other day. I was like, I got to get you on too. And I was like, yes, just let me know. So if I ain't duck hunting, I ain't deer hunting or doing jiu-jitsu, I'm free. I'm like, well, that's all you do all the time. So it's kind of hard to lock you down. But
yeah, because he certainly ain't building duck call.
But no, I was like, I need to get you and Si on and let's talk about some of that fun old stuff.
He's a good one.
Well, tell people how they already know how to find you. They already follow you for the most part, but how can people find you and check the stuff that you do out?
Yeah, if you want to check our stuff out. So I'm at J Martin Duckman on everything. Also, go check out Official Duck Commander. Like, that's my first love. That's my first priority when it comes to content and product and all that stuff. But my stuff is now kind of swapped to more of a family page. Like, I don't know. I just like documenting my boys, man. Yeah. I love watching and seeing the changes in them. And like, if I don't remember some of this stuff. Yeah. Like, I know it sounds crazy, but new parents will probably, you can probably correlate with this. Like, that first 6 months was misery.
Yeah.
And I don't remember none of it. Like, I remember being miserable, but I don't remember what I was miserable about. Like, that's what's crazy. So now I look back, and when I get those memories pop up, and I can go back and look at my social media and stuff, I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. Because they're like two little tiny humans now. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's where we live. That's what I do. Definitely moved away from a lot of the killing stuff on my stuff and more of a family kind of experiential. Because I'm changing, and me personally, I'm changing what I want to do with what I've got with my duck hunting world. I don't care what you kill, just go. Yeah. Like, and just experience it and be there for it.
It's probably another reason that you've grown in popularity across platforms too, though, is like a lot more relatable to people.
Yeah, I just kind of want to pass on what's been passed down to me and help people do it a different way, look at it a different way. I love to pile them up as much as anybody, or I used to. Now I don't. If I ain't got a camera with me, I don't go. I mean, I hate to say that now, but I just don't. Like, because... yeah, whatever. So now my goal is to get them close, get them on camera, get them killed, and get the heck out of there. But really kind of just teaching. Teaching, man. Trying to figure out how to teach, how to become a teacher. Like, I've toyed with the idea, too, of doing, like, a YouTube kids thing on wildlife, like hosting that, and kind of another deal to break me out of my comfort zone.
That would do it.
You know, yeah, but, like, I'm not saying Miss Rachel bubbly, but like, just a different way, because my kids are at that age and kind of want to do more for that age kids, because there's not a lot of stuff out there. So
not for that. That really is a good idea.
You know, just kind of like a wildlife deal. So nothing goofy, just wildlife. Like, let's learn about animals, man. And so with a couple of biology degrees, I figure I'm somewhat qualified.
Learn the difference between a poisonous snake and a venomous snake.
There ain't no poisonous ones, but it'll be fine. But no, it's yeah, man, it's a lot of fun. But if you want to see the killing and the whacking and the stacking, check out Duck Commander. We're still doing it. We're gonna keep doing it because that's what Phil wants. So
yep.
Yeah, well, dude, enjoyed it, bro.
Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. It's been fun.
Stretch. All right, so guys, y'all check us out. We're right here at Christmas time. You know, you can get all your shopping at SpottedDogSportingGoods.com, and free shipping on orders over $99. And again, thank you guys for checking us out. This was a fun one.
And these days, that don't take much.
No.
To get over $99.
Especially when we're talking about duck hunting stuff. So, but all right, check out J Martin Duckman at on Instagram, Facebook, everything else. And anyhow, I'm about ready to go kill some stuff. I'm ready to go catch some fish.
I'm ready to go take a shower and go to bed. Try this all over again.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you guys so much. See you next time. Bye.